Man and knife.
Plane.
We're too late!
What? Move it! Move it! Do my best!
Here we go!
Come on, you... Engine! Watch your head, insect! Gunner Jensen! We gotta get this thing out of here! Yeah! I got the game, man! Move it! Come on!
Albie's here.
It's about time you got it!
Guy's good.
Sight! That was a statement.
Lucky ring. Here, what's the oil pressure?
Sounds good to me.
Move it.
The nukes to the hangar. Come in.
I'm out! Yeah.
I'll be back.
Goodbye!
Get in!
This way! What?
Where's the proof?
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the explosive world of The Expendables 2, where the body count is high and the one-liners are even higher. We kick things off with Barney Ross, Sly Stallone himself, leading his merry band of mercenaries on a rescue mission in Nepal. Explosions rip through the jungle, machine guns chatter like angry squirrels, and the Expendables are doing what they do best, causing absolute mayhem. They're here to snatch a Chinese billionaire, and let's just say, subtlety isn't exactly in their playbook. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more. Amidst the ceaseless cacophony of gunfire and the distant rumble of explosions, the Expendables orchestrate a daring aerial extraction. That rescued billionaire? He's getting hoisted up by a helicopter, dangling precariously before being gently deposited into their waiting cargo plane. Meanwhile, Lee Christmas, our resident knife-throwing expert, takes his motorbike on an unscheduled flight directly into the plane's open bay. Because why use the ramp when you can make a dramatic entrance, right? On board, Barney quickly realizes they've picked up an unexpected extra, an old enemy. This guy isn't exactly thrilled to be reunited, but he's got to work with the team if he wants out of this mess. The air crackles with tension, not just from the engine's roar, but from the uneasy alliance forged in the belly of that plane. The sounds of distant gunfire slowly fade, replaced by the humming of the engines and the heavy breaths of men who just survived another day at the office. If your office was a war zone, that is. Billy the Kid, the team's young sniper, shows off some rather impressive tech skills, which honestly feels a bit out of place for this crew. But hey, even old dogs can learn new tricks. Or bring in some fresh talent who already knows them. After their explosive little excursion, the team returns to their secluded airfield, probably hoping for some well-deserved R&R. But alas, a mercenary's work is never truly done. Enter Mr. Church, played by the perpetually scowling Bruce Willis, who immediately rains on their parade. He's got a job for them, and it's not a request. It's a demand backed by the threat of freezing all their assets. Ouch. The package they need to retrieve? It's in a downed plane somewhere in Albania. The air is thick with the scent of jet fuel and resentment as Barney tries to argue, but Church, ever the stoic taskmaster, makes it clear there's no wiggle room here. This is a do-it-or-starve kind of situation. The team, grumbling but ultimately compliant, accepts their new directive. Billy the Kid, showing a touch of vulnerability, reveals he's tired of the constant danger, confessing his dream of a life away from the explosions and the endless cycle of violence. He's got a girl, you see, a real one, not some fleeting contact in a bar. It's a moment of quiet humanity amidst the rough and tumble, a stark contrast to the metallic clang of their weapons as they prepare for the next deployment. The promise of a simpler life hangs in the air, a fragile hope against the harsh reality of their existence. And just like that, the Expendables are back in action, soaring over the desolate snow-capped peaks of Albania. Because nothing says covert operation like dropping a Humvee out of a plane into a pristine white wilderness, right? The massive metallic thud of the cargo hitting the ground is followed by the graceful descent of the team members themselves, parachutes blossoming against the stark landscape like a flock of very muscular, heavily armed pigeons. As they gather their gear, the biting wind whips around them, a stark reminder that this isn't exactly a vacation. Barney, ever the pragmatist, instructs them to secure the area, the crunch of their boots on the icy ground punctuating his terse commands. Billy, looking a little too reflective for a guy about to walk into a potential ambush, clutches a small wooden carving, a token from his girlfriend, a piece of home he carries into the desolate unknown. The silence of the remote mountains is broken only by the creak of their gear and the occasional barked order. It's the calm before the storm, a silent promise of the chaos that inevitably follows these guys wherever they go. The air smells crisp, cold, and faintly of impending doom, which is pretty much the Expendables' signature scent at this point. They quickly locate the downed plane, a mangled metal carcass half buried in the snow, a grim monument to some forgotten disaster. Inside, they find the mysterious package Church was so insistent about, a small cylindrical container. Seems simple enough, right? Wrong. In true Expendables fashion, simplicity is a foreign concept. Suddenly, the silence of the mountains is shattered by the crackle of distant radio chatter and the telltale click of assault rifle safeties disengaging. Jean Vilain, played with menacing relish by Jean-Claude Van Damme, makes his grand entrance, flanked by his formidable crew. A tense standoff ensues, punctuated by sharp, loaded words exchanged between Barney and Vilain. Vilain's chilling smile reveals the true nature of the confrontation. Before anyone can react, one of Vilain's men snatches Billy the Kid. The moment stretches, taut as a bowstring, then snaps. Vilain, in a cold, brutal display of power, plunges a knife into Billy's chest. The metallic glint of the blade, the sickening thud, and Billy's choked gasp echo through the now horrified silence. Vilain then makes a slow, deliberate cut across Billy's throat. It's a devastating, senseless act, designed to send a clear message. As Billy falls, lifeless, a single tear streaks down his cheek, a stark contrast to the stark white snow. Vilain retrieves the package, a cruel glint in his eye, and vanishes as quickly as he appeared, leaving the Expendables reeling in shock and grief. The only sound left is the collective, heavy breathing of the team, and the blood-chilling silence that follows a sudden, violent death. The aftermath of Billy's death hangs heavy in the air, thick with unspoken grief and simmering fury. The Expendables, a hardened group of men who've seen it all, are visibly shaken. They gather around a hastily dug grave in the unforgiving Albanian landscape, the cold earth a stark contrast to the warmth of the young life they just lost. Barney, his face etched with a silent, profound sorrow, carefully places Billy's unique necklace and a letter from his girlfriend, Sophia, into the ground. It's a heart-wrenching gesture, a final connection to the life Billy dreamed of but never got to live. The soft rustle of the letter, the quiet clatter of the necklace against the dirt. These small sounds are amplified in the suffocating silence. A single powerful vow of revenge is made, not just by Barney but by every member of the team. The air, once filled with the biting cold, now seems to burn with a quiet, dangerous heat. This isn't just about a mission anymore. It's deeply personal. The crackle of Church's voice over the comms, demanding to know the status of the package, only adds fuel to their fire. Barney's terse, angry reply confirms that the package is gone, but more importantly, that Billy is dead. Church, for once, seems to grasp the gravity of the situation, the silence on his end speaking volumes. The metallic clang of shovels filling the grave is punctuated by the ragged breaths of the men, each movement an affirmation of their shared sorrow and their unified thirst for vengeance. The world just lost a good kid, and these old war dogs are about to make someone pay for it. With interest. Back on the plane, the atmosphere is thick with a mournful quiet, broken only by the rhythmic hum of the engines. Barney, still reeling from the loss, fiddles with Billy's distinctive necklace, the one he placed in the grave. But then a subtle click. He discovers a tiny, intricately folded map hidden inside. Talk about keeping secrets! This kid was full of surprises, even posthumously. The map isn't just a random doodle. It points to a specific location. Just as this new clue sparks a flicker of purpose, Church makes another unwelcome appearance via the comms. But this time he's not alone. He introduces Maggie Chan, a sharp-witted technical expert, played by the amazing Yunnan, who practically radiates competence. Maggie, with a seriousness that cuts through the tension like a hot knife through butter, reveals the true nature of the stolen package. It's not just some random MacGuffin. It contains crucial intel about a massive Soviet-era stash of weapons-grade plutonium, enough to turn large parts of the world into glow-in-the-dark craters. The air suddenly feels colder, the stakes astronomically higher. The metallic click of Barney's lighter as he takes a drag from his cigar seems to echo the gravity of Maggie's revelation. The quiet grief gives way to a grim determination. Billy's death wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a catalyst, propelling them into a mission far larger and more dangerous than they could have imagined. The world is on the brink, and these grizzled veterans are the only ones standing between global annihilation and a really bad day. Armed with Billy's secret map and Maggie's newfound intel, the Expendables set off, following the coordinates to a desolate, war-torn village. The silence here isn't peaceful. It's a heavy, oppressive blanket hinting at recent violence. Burnt-out buildings stand as skeletal reminders of a once thriving community. The air smells of ash and despair. As they cautiously move through the rubble, the faint sound of muffled cries leads them to a hidden cellar. There, huddled together in fear, are the few remaining villagers, mostly women and children, their eyes wide with terror and starvation. The sight of their plight ignites a fresh surge of anger in the team. The metallic clink of their weapons, usually a comforting sound, now feels heavy with responsibility. The villagers, through hushed, desperate whispers, confirm their worst fears. Vilain and his brutal gang are forcing men from nearby areas to dig for the plutonium in a secret mine. The sounds of their suffering are almost more deafening than a full-blown firefight. It's a chilling confirmation that Villain isn't just a mercenary. He's a slaver exploiting desperate people for deadly gain. The rustle of their clothes as they huddle, the low murmur of their fear, it all paints a grim picture. Barney's jaw tightens. This mission just got even more personal, a stark reminder that some evils transcend mere financial gain. This isn't just about revenge for Billy. It's about justice for the innocent. They found their target, but the cost will be high. As the team traverses a dense forest, the metallic clang of their boots on fallen leaves suddenly gives way to the telltale snap of twigs under unseen feet. Violent's forces, seemingly omnipresent, spring an ambush. Bullets whiz through the trees with an angry buzz, chipping bark and kicking up dirt. The Expendables, ever prepared, immediately return fire, the deafening roar of their assault rifles tearing through the forest quiet. It's a chaotic symphony of violence. Shouts, groans, and the constant crackle of automatic weapons. Just as the tide seems to be turning against them, a blur of motion, a legendary figure emerges from the shadows. It's Booker, the lone wolf, played by the one, the only Chuck Norris. In a matter of seconds, with a silent, lethal grace, he single-handedly neutralizes Villain's entire squad. The sounds of breaking bones and quick, decisive strikes punctuate his whirlwind of action. He moves with a speed that defies his age, leaving a trail of unconscious or worse bodies in his wake. Barney and the team are momentarily stunned, exchanging incredulous glances as Booker, calm as a monk, simply smiles and delivers a classic Chuck Norrisism about being lonely. The air, once thick with the smell of gunpowder, now carries a hint of something legendary. It's a welcome, if frankly unbelievable, intervention, reminding everyone that sometimes you just need a bigger hammer. Or in this case, a roundhouse kick. With Booker, the team presses on, finally arriving at Villain's primary stronghold, a sprawling, derelict Soviet-era town, a ghost of communist ambition now serving as a den of villainy. The air here tastes metallic, not just from the crumbling industrial structures, but from the palpable oppression that hangs over the place. In the distance, the entrance to the plutonium mine gapes like a maw, swallowing men whole. They observe through binoculars, the click and whir of the lenses revealing the grim reality: forced labor. Men, young and old, are being driven like cattle into the mine, their desperate faces reflecting the harsh glow of the work lights. The place is heavily fortified, a veritable fortress bristling with mercenaries, watchtowers, and the ominous glint of heavy machinery. The metallic clang of tools hitting rock, the distant muffled cries of the workers, and the guttural shouts of Villain's guards create a disturbing soundscape. Barney, ever the strategist, starts formulating a plan, his eyes narrowing as he takes in the formidable defenses. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. This is going to be a full-blown assault on a well-entrenched enemy. The weight of Billy's memory, coupled with the sight of the enslaved villagers, fuels their resolve. They're not just here for revenge. They're here to dismantle a monstrous operation. The clock is ticking, and the very ground beneath them hums with the dark energy of the plutonium being unearthed. Under the cloak of darkness, the Expendables begin their infiltration, moving like ghosts through the crumbling infrastructure of the Soviet-era town. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and stale dust as they slip into the mine's cavernous depths. The metallic clang of their boots is barely audible against the distant echoes of forced labor. Their primary objective: liberate the trapped villagers. Gunner, surprisingly adept at guiding frightened civilians, leads them to safety, urging them out of the mine as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, the rest of the team gets to work. Explosive charges are meticulously placed, timed to create maximum chaos and cover for the escape. The low hum of the timers counting down adds a layer of tension to the already fraught situation. Suddenly, a series of concussive blasts rip through the mine, the deafening roar and the shuddering earth signaling the beginning of the end for Villain's operation. The sounds of panicked shouts from Villain's guards, the chaotic clang of metal, and the terrified cries of the remaining workers fill the air. Dust and debris rain down, obscuring vision, adding to the disorienting pandemonium. It's a symphony of controlled destruction, designed to throw Villain's forces into disarray and create an escape route for the innocents. The ground trembles beneath their feet, a physical manifestation of the tectonic shift they're causing in this place of suffering. They're not just breaking rocks, they're breaking chains. The feeling of success, however, is fleeting, as they know the real fight is just beginning above ground. As the mine rumbles and groans behind them, a symphony of collapsing tunnels and desperate shouts. The Expendables take up their positions outside. This isn't just a simple ambush. It's a meticulously planned slaughterhouse for villains' remaining forces. They blend into the shadowy ruins of the Soviet town, their forms barely discernible against the crumbling concrete and rusted metal. The air grows heavy with anticipation, punctuated only by the distant sounds of the mine's death throes and the metallic click of safeties being disengaged. Barney gives the signal and the team waits, coiled and ready. The smell of dust and cordite hangs in the air, a familiar scent of impending violence. As villains' panicked men spill out of the mine, disoriented and vulnerable, the Expendables unleash a torrent of gunfire. The air is immediately filled with the deafening roar of machine guns, the sharp crack of sniper rifles, and the guttural cries of men caught in a deadly crossfire. It's a relentless, one-sided assault, a brutal display of their collective fury. The ground beneath them vibrates with the concussive force of explosions as strategically placed charges rip through enemy positions. This isn't a fair fight. It's a reckoning. Every bullet fired, every punch thrown is a tribute to Billy, a payment for his untimely death. The sounds of metal tearing, bodies falling, and the desperate screams of villains' men create a gruesome soundtrack to their vengeance. The Expendables are a force of nature, and right now they're a very angry storm. Just when Violent's forces seem to be regrouping, pushing the Expendables into a tighter spot, the rumbling begins. It's not an earthquake, it's something far more exciting. A tank. And who's at the helm of this metallic beast? None other than Church, looking as unimpressed as ever, with Trench, played by the glorious Arnold Schwarzenegger, gleefully operating the cannon. The roar of the tank's engine and the deafening boom of its main gun tearing through a building signal their arrival. It's like a Christmas miracle, but with more firepower and less tinsel. The ground shakes with each blast, sending shockwaves through the battleground. The metallic shriek of tearing steel and crumbling concrete fills the air as the tank obliterates enemy positions. The Expendables, momentarily stunned, break into grins. This isn't just backup. This is a heavy metal concert of destruction. The enemy, who moments ago felt confident, are now scrambling, their desperate shouts swallowed by the overwhelming sounds of the tank's advance. It's a beautiful, brutal ballet of firepower, and the tide of battle turns dramatically. The sight of these two legends, casually obliterating everything in their path, is a delightful injection of pure, unadulterated mayhem. The only thing missing is a hasta la vista, baby, but I'm sure it's implied with every explosion. The battle, much like a particularly stubborn flu, spreads to the nearby airport, escalating into an all-out, no-holds-barred conflict. Violence goons, not content with just ground forces, bring out the big toys, planes and helicopters. The roar of jet engines and the rapid thud of chopper blades fill the air, creating a truly chaotic symphony of destruction. The metallic clanging of tanks on tarmac is punctuated by the staccato bursts of machine gun fire from all directions. It's a magnificent mess. As an enemy helicopter attempts to gain aerial superiority, Booker, with the calm demeanor of a man ordering a latte, takes aim. A single perfectly placed shot, a soft thwip followed by a massive explosion, brings the chopper spiraling down in a shower of sparks and mangled metal. The deafening crash and subsequent fireball send shrapnel flying, further adding to the pandemonium. Meanwhile, Barney and Christmas engage in a brutal, up-close and personal brawl with some of Villain's toughest enforcers. The wet crack of punches landing, the grunt of effort, and the sharp snap of bones create a visceral soundtrack to their fight. It's a masterclass in controlled violence, a testament to years of fighting dirty and staying alive. The very ground vibrates with the concussive force of the explosions, and the smell of jet fuel and gunpowder mixes into a truly intoxicating aroma of war. This isn't just an airport. It's a demolition derby on a global scale, and the Expendables are absolutely loving it. The airport transforms into a stage for the Expendables' unique brand of organized chaos. Yin-Yang, with his lightning-fast martial arts, is a blur of motion, a silent, deadly dancer. He teams up with Gunner, who's not just a walking arsenal but also surprisingly agile when he's not busy contemplating existential dread. Their coordinated takedowns are a beautiful, brutal ballet of fists, feet, and whatever else they can get their hands on. The thwack of Yang's kicks meeting bone and the satisfying crunch of Gunner's larger frame slamming into enemies paint a vivid picture of their teamwork. Elsewhere, Lee Christmas, ever the connoisseur of blades, is embroiled in a flurry of knife-edge close combat, the metallic shink of his knives weaving through the air as he dispatches foes with surgical precision. The air is thick with the grunts of effort, the sharp cries of pain, and the rhythmic sound of blades meeting flesh and armor. Caesar, the team's heavy weapons specialist, provides a thunderous symphony of destruction, his massive automatic shotgun barking defiance, sending enemies flying with each concussive blast. The sheer force of his weapon, the loud boom-boom of its discharge, cuts through the incessant chatter of smaller arms fire. The ground shudders with the impact of his heavy rounds. It's a chaotic, adrenaline-fueled dance of death, showcasing each member's specialized skills, all working in terrifying, efficient harmony. The airport is becoming less an airport and more a scrapyard for villains' ambitions. Filled with the triumphant roar of the Expendables and the desperate shouts of their defeated foes. Just as the Expendables start to feel like they've got the upper hand, because nothing's ever easy in these movies, Vilain makes a desperate break for it. He snatches up the remaining plutonium, those glowing, highly unstable barrels that could turn a bad day into an extinction-level event, and leaps into a heavily armored Humvee. The metallic clatter of the plutonium barrels as they're roughly loaded into the vehicle is chilling, a stark reminder of the stakes. The engine roars to life, kicking up a cloud of dust and debris as Villain speeds away, a coward's retreat in the face of overwhelming force. Barney, his face a mask of grim determination, shouts orders, the urgency in his voice cutting through the remaining sounds of battle. The team immediately gives chase, scrambling into their own vehicles. The screech of tires on tarmac, the roar of their engines, and the desperate shouts of "Get him!" fill the air. The sounds of distant gunfire and explosions slowly fade as they leave the airport carnage behind, transitioning from a static battle to a high-speed pursuit. The thought of Vilain escaping with enough plutonium to turn half the world into a radioactive wasteland adds an intense, cold dread to the chase. This isn't just about vengeance for Billy anymore. It's about preventing a global catastrophe. The metallic grind of gears as they shift, the constant whine of the accelerating engines. It's a race against time and a truly evil man. The chase culminates in a ravaged area of the facility, a perfect, desolate backdrop for a final, personal confrontation. Barney finally corners Vilain, the air thick with a tension that crackles more intensely than any gunfight. It's a moment born of pure, unadulterated hatred. Vilain, ever the smug sadist, even cracks a sarcastic joke about Billy, pushing Barney's already frayed nerves to their absolute limit. Then the gloves come off. This isn't a fight with weapons. It's a raw, visceral, hand-to-hand brawl, a desperate dance of brutal force and pure rage. The wet, sickening thud of punches landing, the grunt of effort from both men, and the sharp snap of bone on bone create a truly visceral soundtrack. The metallic clang of stray pipes and debris adds to the chaotic percussion of their fight. Barney, fueled by the memory of Billy, fights with an almost animalistic ferocity, each blow a prayer for vengeance. Vilain, despite his arrogance, is a formidable opponent, his movements swift and merciless. Their faces, contorted with effort and rage, are a study in contrasting evils and justified fury. The air is thick with heavy breathing, strained grunts, and the rhythmic beat of their blows. It's a fight for more than just survival. It's a fight for honor, for memory, and for a world brought to the brink. Finally, with a decisive, brutal series of blows, Barney overcomes Vilain. The final, resonant thud as Vilain hits the ground defeated is deeply satisfying. A quick, sharp cut to the throat, a mimicry of Villain's own cruel act, seals his fate. Billy is avenged, his killer's last gasp lost in the sounds of battle. With Vilain finally dispatched to the great villain's lounge in the sky, the immediate threat is gone, but the larger, glowing problem of the plutonium remains. Under Maggie's expert guidance, the team quickly works to ensure the deadly cargo is safely contained and destroyed. The air hums with the soft whirring of equipment as they set up the detonation. There's a tense, nervous energy as the countdown begins, the metallic clicks of the timer echoing in the relative silence. This isn't just about making a big bang. It's about preventing a global catastrophe. The team evacuates the area, the screech of their tires on the dirt road a sharp counterpoint to the impending silence. Then a blinding flash of light, followed by a deafening roar that rattles the very earth beneath them. A massive, beautiful, and utterly terrifying mushroom cloud of fire and smoke erupts from the mine entrance, blossoming into the sky like a monstrous, fiery flower. The concussive blast sweeps over them, pushing their vehicles with an incredible force, and the sound of debris raining down around them is deafening. The ground trembles, groans, and finally settles into a deep, vibrating hum. The danger, the existential threat to millions, is finally gone. The air, which moments ago was thick with the smell of gunpowder and blood, now carries the faint, acrid scent of a truly colossal explosion. It's a spectacular end to a truly villainous plan, and a testament to the Expendables' ability to save the day, even if they do so with excessive force and a truly impressive body count. One less world-ending threat, courtesy of some very grumpy heroes. Back home, the Expendables return to their usual haunt, the victory bittersweet, overshadowed by the memory of Billy. The noise of their plane landing, the familiar rumble, feels different now, imbued with a sense of loss. Barney, carrying the weight of his grief, makes a solemn pilgrimage. He visits Billy's girlfriend, Sophia, a young woman whose face in the photographs radiated a hope that was tragically extinguished. The silence in her apartment is heavy, filled with unspoken sorrow. Barney, his voice rough with emotion, delivers Billy's final letter, the one he had clutched so tightly. As he reads it aloud, Billy's words, filled with love and dreams of a peaceful future, echo through the room. The rustle of the paper, the gentle catch in Sophia's breath are the only sounds. It's a poignant, raw moment of vulnerability, a stark contrast to the explosions and gunfire they usually inhabit. The letter is a testament to the life Billy hoped to live, a life away from the chaos, a life with her. It's a heartbreaking reminder of the personal cost of their dangerous profession. The scene is quiet, filled with the simple, devastating sounds of a life cut short and a love left unfulfilled. It's a heavy moment, a necessary pause after the storm, honoring the memory of the one they lost. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues, the Expendables plane soars off into the distance, a silver bird carrying its grizzled crew toward new horizons. The roar of the engines fades, leaving behind a silence that speaks of both endings and new beginnings. They've faced down a formidable evil, avenged a fallen comrade, and prevented a global catastrophe. This movie, in all its bombastic glory, reminds us that courage isn't just about wielding big guns. It's about standing by your family, even if that family communicates primarily through explosions and sarcasm. It's about finding strength in unity and purpose in defiance. The journey continues, not just for these legends, but for all of us, always seeking that next adventure, that next challenge. Perhaps, in their relentless pursuit of justice, we find a reflection of our own hopes for a better, safer world. Until next time, stay expendable, my friends.